Okay, well, welcome Melissa Harris and Peyton Robinett to Ride and Tie Tongue Tied, our little Ride and Tie interview. I'm so glad you're joining me today.
We are too.
All right. Part of the reason I want to interview you is that you guys just finished the World Championship. But then I went back and looked up your records, and you actually have a fairly long history, particularly given Peyton. You're how old now?
11.
11. And so you 2 years ago, when you were 9, is that when you did your first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, Melissa and Peyton, how you met each other, and then tell me how you got involved in horses together and how you got involved in riding tie.
I give riding lessons at my ranch, and Heather drove by one day when I was out doing lessons and asked what I do out here and asked if she could bring Peyton over for riding lessons. And that's how it all started a year before our first ride and tie.
And Peyton, had you ridden a horse before then?
No.
So that was brand new for you. Yeah. So you took lessons from Melissa about a year, and then you got ready to do your first ride and tie. How did you find out about ride and tie? How did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
I always wanted to do a ride and tie, and Peyton is very athletic and was getting bored trying to show horses, and so she was a little too little to do endurance. So I thought an 8-mile ride and tie would be the way to start to get her into the endurance world. But little did I know we did really well, and we liked the ride and ties.
Yeah, great. So Peyton, tell me what you remember about that first race back in 2022.
You're on Willow.
I was on Willow and it was raining.
In the rain.
We did the whole entire ride and tie in the rain. It was very wet.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was it was the 8-mile.
8-mile.
8 miles in the rain. Yeah. And so then the following year, you came back just a few months later, really the coolest spring, and you're on Willow again. You did 9 miles. And then you did another 9-mile one that fall of 2023. Anything interesting happen in either one of those races?
It wasn't raining.
Wasn't raining. That's good.
That's where we started figuring out our strategy and how to do the ride and ties and how to make a little bit better time and get the horses fit, Willow fit for the ride and ties.
So what's your strategy been?
Just to go faster. Our tack was a big deal because you have to switch a certain amount of times on the ride and ties. You have to hike and then you have to ride. And so switching our stirrups and making sure the saddles and everything fit for her and for me. So our strategy was making sure all the equipment fit and then making sure she could hike fast enough when she was on the ground to be able to keep up with the horse.
Yeah. And so do you switch stirrups every tie?
We rode with 2 sets of stirrups.
Good. That's great.
Yeah.
And that worked okay.
No, it did not work okay.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
She got rub marks on her legs from having her set of stirrups rub, or my set of stirrups were rubbing. So it took quite a few training sessions out on the trail to figure out the length of stirrups and what kind of stirrups and where to put the stirrups and how to lay the stirrups over so that she could ride and I could ride without getting the stirrups hitting your shins and your legs the whole time.
Yeah. That is a one problem with riding tie, I guess, if you're not the same height. My main partner is my brother-in-law, and he is a lot taller than me, and we've struggled over the years to try to figure out what to do as well. So I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
That was really our biggest struggle was the stirrups.
Yeah.
But at the national championships, we got it down.
All right.
It's not a struggle, that one.
So, and that's just because you throw her stirrups over when you're riding and your stirrups over when she's riding, or what?
I both the stirrups get thrown over, but I put plastic ones on for me so that they don't hit her shins. And then I wrap mine in wool so that it's not bouncing against her when she's doing the trotting.
Right.
The horse that she rode at the championships is a lot of horse. And so she has to make sure her legs have freedom.
Right. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the championship, and then I want you to tell me, and maybe it's even a part of that, tell me about the horse that you rode in the championship.
You want to start? No. Okay, well, the championships was awesome. The start was a little bit hard I had her go out and start on him first, and he was kind of a booger and wanted to keep up with the other horses. Previous to that, we did the national championships endurance ride, so he kind of had that feeling on him. So I had to pull her off of him, and then I got on him. And then that made me nervous because I have an 11-year-old out in the back.
Yeah.
And didn't want her ran over. So the start was challenging. So I just slowed way down and let everybody go by, and then readjusted how we were going to proceed with the ride and tie. So I put her back on, and then we were able, probably about 3 or 4 miles, able to finally pick up a pace and start.
All right. And so this horse is named what, Peyton?
Solar.
Solar.
Okay. And Solar is one you used earlier in the year too, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, is that because you were using Willow, then you went to Solar? Is there a reason you switched over?
Yes, Willow is almost 30 years old.
Okay.
And Willow is very, very slow and just an old lady. And I didn't think she could do more than 10 miles. Okay. So we went ahead and we had a couple of horses to choose from, but we chose Solar because he was in a rehab program. And so we went ahead and did the first 22 miles on him when he was in his recovery program. And he did fantastic. And then Peyton stepped up her game and started riding way better and doing her lessons 3 days a week, and could show me she could ride Solar in the championships because he is a bit to ride. Mm-hmm. And so we chose him because he was the fittest out of the horses that I had at the ramp to go the 25 miles.
Oh, that's great. Peyton, I'm so impressed because it's one thing to ride just a little pony horse, a little lesson horse that everybody can ride, but it sounds like Solar is a bit of a challenge. Tell me a little bit about what it's like when he gets a little fidgety for you.
What's Solar like to ride up hills?
Your face kind of says it all, huh?
What does Solar do going up hills?
He likes to try to go sideways.
He's fast.
Yeah.
He likes to gallop.
Especially with other people.
Yeah. He's very competitive. So when you have other horses and runners and riders around, he wants to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have a horse just like that. So I get it. That's neat. Well, anything during the championship, any interesting things happen out there? Any I know the start was tough, you said, or kind of you had to adjust your strategy. Anything else go on that was something we ought to hear about?
It was actually pretty relaxing. Mm-hmm. Once we got towards the back of the ride and tie and her nerves settled down and the horse's nerves settled down, we were able to move forward. And it was actually a really nice enjoyment ride.
Super, yeah. How often do you tend to switch?
We switched actually quite a few times. So we switched twice out at the start, and then we switched twice coming in, and then we switched at the vet checks after that. So we switched our strategy at the 12-mile mark. So we changed totally what we did at the 12-mile mark because we were not making totally good time. Yeah. And we wanted to be a little bit faster. And so I talked to Peyton and we switched how we were coming in on the 12-mile mark.
I just love that because that's what riding tie is all about. You've got to constantly be adjusting if the horse isn't doing quite right or whatever. So that's just great. Peyton, you're getting it. I mean, you've got it. You're a pro, obviously. She
is the pro. She did it. She was awesome.
Yep. I mean, I don't know how many 11-year-olds can say they did a 22 and a 25 mile race in the same year. That's incredible. Yeah. That's cool.
It is incredible. I agree. To be able to switch to at 12 miles, like we practiced one way to do the race for like 6 months, and then at 12 miles, we switched the whole entire strategy and she was able to do it and she had to hike a little bit more.
Yep. That's great. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, this course, the last loop was just 3 miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was it like to go out and know, okay, we've done these 2 long loops. Now we just have to do 3 more miles. What was that like?
I was very thankful.
Yeah. So did it feel short or did it feel long?
I was very thankful. The horse gets stronger as the miles go on.
Yeah.
And so that was part of our strategy change because he was getting a little too strong. And so to only have 3 more miles on this particular horse was pretty cool.
Yeah. Great. So what is next for you two, this team?
I have no idea as far as the riding tie goes. One of the reasons why we wanted to do the championships is because it's not held out this location very often. And so that was a big reason for us to go ahead and do it. For sure, we'll go ahead and keep doing the riding ties that are held in Cool. Peyton wants to do endurance, so we'll be starting our endurance career this next season together. We did do 125 before the riding tie. So she does have 25 miles under her belt on an LD.
And Peyton, you're out in the right part of the world. Is Tevis maybe a long-term goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was probably, I almost didn't have to ask that question. Yeah, that's neat. That's neat. Well, here's the deal. If you finish, you already have finished a riding tie championship. If you finish a Tevis championship and then you do the Western States 100 foot race, if you finish all 3 of those, well, it's called several different things, the Triple Crown. Some people call it the Triple Cripple. But that might be, now you got to really run hard. Now you got to run 100 miles in that Western States. But that's something you might think about. Okay, if I already got the riding tie championship at 11. So now I can just keep moving along. I can do Tevis and finish that. And then I've got 2/3 of it and then get into the Western States. What do you think? Would you want to run on foot 100 miles?
No.
Maybe you'll change your mind. I hope you will. That's good. That's good. Okay. Well, if you, and Peyton, I think particularly you, because there are a lot of kids that do riding tie these days, or a lot that are thinking about it. What advice or what encouragement would you give to another kid who's thinking about doing riding tie?
Don't give up.
Don't give up. That's a great one. Yeah, yeah. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Be flexible is something I've heard today. You know, if you've got to change strategy in the middle of the race, you just figure it out and do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Melissa? What advice would you give to kids or adults?
To the kids, it's pretty cool. Just, I think it's a good strategy to teach the kids longevity. I do a lot of endurance racing and I'm into the longevity part of endurance racing. And so I think it's, it really teaches my students how to set a goal, and a year before the goal or 6 months before the goal to have it's set in stone what you're going to do, and then to try a couple before your big adventure so that if you need to make adjustments, you can.
That's great. That's great. Well, Peyton, I did not start riding horses so I was in my 40s. And actually, my daughter is the one who got me into it. But I both admire and I envy you a little bit, because at 11, you're already riding and doing endurance and riding tie. And those are 2 of my loves as well. So I think this is just great. And Melissa, I'm thankful to you for doing what you're doing for Peyton. So that's great. Do you have any other students that maybe might be interested in riding tie, or is Peyton just got the anomaly?
I actually had one other student that did a ride and tie named Sophia, and she did one with my sister back in 2023, I believe. And so they did a good job. She lived a little bit further away, so it's harder to come out and condition the horses and go hiking. But I definitely have upcoming students that want to participate in the riding tie.
All right. Well, Peyton, you can be helpful in getting them to know what they need to do to be able to do that, because you have done so much. Well, congratulations. You got belt buckles, I'm sure.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Congratulations on those. Make your parents get you a belt to go with that belt buckle so you can wear it with pride. Thank y'all so much for being a part of Tongue Tied, and I hope to see you out there on the trail sometime.
Sounds good. Nice talking to you.
You too.